Well, we can cross to Berlin and speak to France 24's Nick Spicer, who's following developments for us. Nick, just tell us a bit more about what's coming out of those talks in Berlin.
Well, the talks involved, of course, the German foreign minister and the American Secretary of State, but France's and the United Kingdom's foreign ministers were also present, as well as the European Union's top diplomat, Josep Borrell, and the welcoming host, so Annalena Baerbock, the foreign minister here in Germany, said that the talks could not have been more close, that she had been meeting with her friend Anthony many times to talk about this issue, and then Blinken took over the conference to say that basically he had been touring for the past week Europe, talking to European capitals. We just heard him 100 different kinds of meetings to make a show of European unity on values. And he said that what binds us together is what we care about. So democracy and human rights, particularly at home. And he warned Russia that if it tried to invade Ukraine or destabilize Ukrainian democracy, there would be consequences. And he also said that the Gazprom pipeline, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is run by the Russian gas company Gazprom, which the United States has been against for many years. It runs from Russia to Germany. It was not yet pumping gas, and then it was not leverage for Moscow, but it was leverage for the Europeans in the West. In other words, they, was something they could be using against Russia. This, as a whole slew of economic sanctions, have been threatened recently by, just today, the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, as well as the Americans and the Europeans, all kinds of threats of possible economic measures, but of course nothing military.
And Nick, just tell us a bit more about what's next then for the US Secretary of State.
Well, he still has some work here in Germany. He's going up a protocol level because he's going to be meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, which is not something that typically happens, but it gives you an indication of just how serious this crisis is. And then he's also going to be making a speech, which the State Department describes as one to policymakers, but also to the general public here in Germany, as well as to the world, to people who want to know what the United States and Europe's position is. And basically, we understand it is to be about looking at Ukraine as a test of the rules-based international order. That is the pitch that Anthony Blinken is going to be making in this speech. He'll be heading tomorrow to Geneva to meet with Sergei Lavrov, Europe's longest-serving foreign minister, basically to tell him, in his words today, that Europe is speaking with one single voice, and that if they choose to, the Kremlin chooses to continue discussions and diplomacy, there will be positive results. But if they lean towards some kind of military solution, if there is any kind of invasion, there will be dramatic economic consequences. And I need to point out that the Kremlin today has said that Biden's speech yesterday was something that could encourage hotheads in Ukraine. We also know from the Kremlin that there will be a massive naval deployment in the Arctic, Pacific, Atlantic, and oceans and the Mediterranean Sea. So it doesn't look like the saber rattling is going to be dying down anytime soon.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed. France 24's Nick Spicer in Berlin. Thanks a lot.